Welcome everyone to part 3 of our active learning series using Google Slides. And today we're going to be incorporating active learning slide add-ons called Pear Deck and Nearpod, which allow you to make the slides extremely interactive for students by allowing them to log in and essentially write on their own slide during the presentation on essentially any device, and you can see their responses individually as well as a class to provide feedback. It's one of the best ways to monitor and adjust your instruction based on student responses, and it provides opportunities for students to overtly participate through sharing what they've provided on the slides, as well as covertly participate in class because each of them are interacting on a slide. So our goals today are essentially being able to add Pear Deck and /or Nearpod to our Google Slides. And we're going to be able to, by the end of this professional learning, to go to the extension store and add Pear Deck and Nearpod to our Google Slides, and then add it in, and then essentially begin creating a lesson. And I'm going to show you how to do that with both. And I'm going to show you also how to launch that lesson on each. So here we go. So here's the how-to. So in order to add in these add-ons, you need to click on this button here. And as you can see, I already have Nearpod and Pear Deck added as an add-on. And if you want to get add-ons, you click on here where it says Get Add-ons under the Add-ons tab. There's also a link here that takes you to the extension store. So I'm going to click on Get Add-ons. And what you can see here is when these both appear, Pear Deck and Nearpod, you can search for them and they will appear. All you need to do is click on them and then integrate your Google sign in. And if you're Microsoft, it allows the Microsoft sign in as well for both these tools. So you're going to click on it, go through each of the tutorials of adding those in. Should take a few minutes. And then what you will do is when you're done adding each of those add-ons, you're going to refresh your slides. And what you're going to do is after the slides have refreshed, you're going to see that those tools here, these add-ons will appear. Okay, so you'll see Pear Deck and Nearpod. And as you can see here, if you are browsing through this asynchronously, you'll see that, exactly what I just showed you of getting those extensions. And then essentially what you're going to do is when you're working on this asynchronously, if you want to use Nearpod, you're going to click here. And it's going to take you through a step-by-step tutorial of getting started with Nearpod and really essentially being able to add it, incorporating it, adding the interactive slides to it, and then launching that slideshow and being in the teacher mode for when you are launching that in your class, whether you're in person or online. So it's going to go step by step there. And the same thing for Pear Deck. There's a step-by-step asynchronous playlist here where you can go step by step of learning how to begin incorporating Pear Deck into your Google Slides. And it shows you step by step of how to do so. And part of this lesson here is that when you're doing this asynchronously, I would like you to create your own little mini lesson using Nearpod or Pear Deck. And that could be 3 to 5 slides. Doesn't need to be necessarily that long. But what would be great is that if you can create that and then click on this link here and then share it with your colleagues. So when you're done with that slideshow presentation, you're ready to share, you'll click on share. And you'll make sure anyone this link can view. You'll copy that, and then you'll copy it in here to that slide deck column. You'll write your name, and then you'll write a short description of the lesson that you have created. So that's something that you can do asynchronously. But real quickly, I'm going to show you how to open up Pear Deck and Nearpod. So I'm just going to create a new slide. So let's just have this be for Pear Deck first. I'm going to name this one Pear Deck. And I'm going to click on Add-On. And I'm going to make this slide interactive using Pear Deck. So I'm going to click on Add-On. Your Pear Deck should be available. And you should be doing this when you are creating your own Google Slides. And as you can see on the right-hand side, we have all these options here. So if you're in Vista and Escondido, you hold the license for all these features. And if you're with Poway, since we do not have that one, the premium feature, we do have the text and choice and number. So we have available to do the top three here, but Vista and Escondido can do everything. So I'm going to do just a quick little, say you want to make a quick write and you just wanted to write the prompt. All you need to do is click on this text. And essentially that makes that slide interactive. Okay. So say I've created a number of slides that are interactive and I'm ready to present my lesson. So all you need to do is when you're ready to go, click on Start Lesson. And I do instructor paste to start. You can always make it student paste. I'm going to make a video about that in the future. Make sure you're on the right account. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be a screen that's going to pop up. And on the teacher end and the student's end, you're sharing your screen on Zoom. And your students can join in your slideshow one of two ways. They can go to this URL here and then put in this code, or you give them a link, you copy that link, and then you place it right into the chat on Zoom. And the students will take them directly into this slideshow. And what's also going to appear is the teacher dashboard. And I'm going to show you what that looks like real quickly with a new share. So you'll have this that's available to you of your entire slide deck. And you'll see here on this one that I made for Pear Deck, you're waiting for responses. You're going to be able to see all your students' responses here. And you can see them by name. And if you have premium, you can provide students with feedback directly onto their responses. So it can be text feedback. And you can also lock screens. You can also add a new prompt. So say you wanted to ask a follow-up question that you wanted to ask your students, you can click on there. And you have the join code right here. So if a student joins in late, it just brings you back to the join code page. And what that does is this allows you to have that join code up as well for your student that came in late, and you can give them the link or go right into the Zoom chat or take them to Canvas. Maybe you already have the link on the Canvas page. You want them to click there. So this is how we would do this for Pear Deck. I'm going to end my lesson on the teacher dashboard, and I'm going to show you. So say, for example, you finished your lesson. You can save the student responses and write down that. And then you can always go back to peardeck.com and see all your students' responses again. And if you have Premium, this and Escondido, you can generate takeaways. So say, for example, you had your students do annotations or a writing response. You can send them an email with their individualized responses so they can review later. So that's really cool. So now I'm going to end this slideshow, and then let's go into we're going to go into Nearpod. So I'm going to just go and make a new slide. And what I did is I just duplicated the slide. And I'm going to just call it Nearpod and say we're doing a quick write with Nearpod. Write out the title of the slide, write down a prompt or problem or something you want your students to interact with. Go to Nearpod, Add-On, which you've already done and added. And that Nearpod icon will appear. And you will see this load, and you're going to have to log in. Okay, and now it's going to require you to, because you logged on, we need to drop that. I'm going to go in again. For Nearpod, which is a little bit annoying, is that you have to, once you log in, you have to close out of the interactive piece for Google Slides and then reopen it. So Nearpod's a little bit different in terms of how we create these interactive slideshows. So if you don't have the premium, which incorporates the Google Slides here, you have to use the online launching tool. And this is, to me, more important to go over right now versus going it through Google Slides, because it's essentially the same thing of adding the interactions to Google Slides as it is with Pear Deck. So there's really nothing new there. So say you wanted to create a lesson on Nearpod's presentation developer. This is where you will launch it, by the way. And if you do Google Slides, it will save it to here. So say I wanted to do, let's see, and it even has activities. So here's all the things that you can interact with. This is the content that you can add, which is awesome. And then we'll just do an open-ended question. And once that loads, it's going to allow me to create an open-ended question. Write the prompt. What is your favorite hobby? And I can make it bigger, smaller using this text box here. I can add a timer, which I really like about Nearpod for your students. And that will go off during their slides. You can add an image here. And what's really cool is that you can enable student audio recordings. So students can record their voice instead of typing in an answer. So that's a really cool integration. So I just created my slideshow here, my interactive slide, and say I'm ready to send it out to my students. I'm going to click on save and exit. And it's saving. And this will do the same thing when you are incorporating it on Google Slides. You'll have to click on save, and then it will bring you here. And once it's saved here, we have to launch it from this interface. We have to launch it from our online Nearpod interface. It's not like Pear Deck where we can launch it directly from Google Slides. So we're launching it from here. And very similar to Pear Deck, we have our copy link, or we have that join code that they can go to joinnearpod.com. And do the same thing. You can copy the link, put it on Canvas, put it onto Zoom, or send it out via email. Whichever way you want to do it works. Whatever works best for your students is what I usually say. All right. So the activity is going to start, and the students will see this. And what's cool about Nearpod is you can go between the student and teacher version. And this is what the students will see. And this will be on their computer or any device. They'll respond here, and then they can either record. It's up to the student on how they respond. It's also up to you as a teacher how you want your students to respond. So what's cool is I'm going to show you that this is the teacher window that you'll see here. So you'll see here on the teacher window, essentially the student responses. So let me show you here. So on the teacher window, you can see here that that no students are in, but you'll see the students that are in your presentation, and you're going to see the number of students that are answering the responses, the level of participation. You can hide their names, and you'll be able to see their response to provide them feedback. So this is essentially how it works for Nearpod. And similar to Pear Deck, you can add additional activity. And what I really like about Nearpod is you can open a whiteboard during that interactive activity, and you could jot down some notes, sharing the page, and you can do a wide variety of things here to clarify student misunderstanding, provide whole class feedback, etc. So that's really cool about Nearpod. So overall, I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and this professional learning opportunity. And I hope to see you at a live one in the near future. And I can work with you in a small group on each of the skills that we're focusing on relating to interactive slides. I hope that you're also able to check out our YouTube page and professional development page on our ETCN EdTech website. Please bookmark and follow. And I hope to see you sometime soon. Fill out this survey, and love to hear your feedback to help us create the best professional learning opportunities for you. Thank you so much, and have an amazing day.